welcome to Big Balls Fantasy Football, this special Super Bowl edition. I am your host, Greg Reifsteck, longtime Chicago Bear fan.
And I'm your co-host, Jenilee Borek. I'm also a Bears fan, and together we are the beauty
and the beast
of fantasy football experts.
So we are coming to you live from the man cave today, where we are doing a Super Bowl party. We are doing live fantasy football. First time I've ever heard of it being done. We're going to experiment with it today. So we're going to make some bold predictions, fantasy-wise, also with some scoring. You want to tell them about our how we're working our new game?
Absolutely. So we're trying something different this year instead of doing the squares that everyone does. And we are playing a fantasy game. So we're having people pick you get to pick your quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and kicker. We're not doing defense because we're having to keep track of the scoring ourselves. But, you know, we're going to give out some prizes and just see how the game goes fantasy-wise, as well as how the actual outcome is. And again, you know, we're here in Universal City, California, so we are not in that cold weather of New York, but we are excited about this Super Bowl. I know for me, I haven't been as excited about our Super Bowl in a long time, since the Bears were in our last one. He's got the t-shirt on for that. So I'm excited to see these two teams go at it. So
it's one of the reasons I'm excited too, is because there is the different cold factor. It's in a different place. It's usually in a dome. Also, Peyton Manning is back. And the last time Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl was, unfortunately, against our Chicago Bears. And that's why I'm wearing this shirt. I'm thinking maybe it'll give him some luck. Maybe he'll put up a whole bunch of fantasy points, because I am making my prediction and saying that the Broncos are going to win this thing. Now, Ashley will tell you her prediction later, but we've been trying to get this out of you, Jenilee. You won't take a side.
I know. They've been pulling at me. And if you can see, my nails are done for both teams. One hand is the Seahawks colors. The other one is the Bronco colors. They're going to be battling it out today, so I thought that I'd do something creative with my nails. But that is true. I've been really torn with this one just because of the matchup. I think that these two teams, you know, match up really well, and there's going to be some X factors in the game. So my gut is telling me Seattle, because defenses tend to win championships. And there's been many Super Bowls that good defenses have shut down really good offenses. So there's just something in my gut saying Seattle, but I'm not necessarily rooting for one team more than the other. I do think something's going to be very interesting on the Broncos side. I think we're going to see some players step up and play at a completely different level than they have all season. Kind of these no-name, if you can say, players that we haven't heard of much of. I think they're going to play at a different level, because I think, first of all, they're going to be motivated for Peyton Manning so that he can win this one. And I also think what hasn't been talked about is I think the defense of the Broncos is going to be motivated for Champ Bailey. Not many people have been talking about this is Champ Bailey's first Super Bowl, and he's been in the league for a long time.
Really long time.
So I think emotionally, the Broncos are going to be in a different place playing for those two guys, trying to win it for those two guys. So in my pick'em league, I took the Broncos because of that factor. But, you know.
We have some excited fans out there.
We do.
That's why we came out. We came out to the bar. We went to have some fun. I'm really glad you brought that up about defenses winning. The only reason I think it's going to be the Broncos instead is because you have a lot of experience in Peyton Manning. You have Wes Welker, who's been to a Super Bowl before, other very veteran players on that team, and unfortunately our Bears, that's what got us to our last Super Bowl, was our defense. You notice you don't see Rex Grossman there. You see Urlacher. It's Manning versus Urlacher, and we had a deadly defense then, which now has been dissipated, of course, but because we had Rex Grossman, unfortunately, he was the weak link. We lost the game. So I think Wilson is going to get, because of all of the excitement and all, I think he's going to get nervous. And I don't think he's going to play to a level that I think everybody expects him to play. The way he gets to play at home when he's in the safety of the Seahawks stadium, I mean, MetLife is going to be, it's going to be a lot different.
Well, and that's been the topic a lot this week throughout the league, is that the Seahawks are definitely unexperienced. The Broncos don't have a ton of experience, but you know, they do have a little more age. So they have players that have been in the league longer. Seahawks are a very young team. You know, did they get distracted by this whole week of Super Bowl craziness? You know, I think that we'll kind of see how that plays out as the game goes on.
Let's get into some questions that we wanted to ask here. Let's go around the horn on these. Who do you think will win today? The #1 defense or the #1 offense?
Well, again, since I took the Broncos in my pick'em league, I will say the #1 offense. But I'm torn because there's something in my gut.
I love it.
There's just this little thing in my gut saying defense wins championships, and it's going to be an exciting matchup. But I'm going to stick to the pick'em because, you know, I'm gambling a little bit there and say the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm saying that it's going to be the #1 offense. Peyton Manning. I think the team might get Manninged today. I don't think to the level that Manning has Manninged in the beginning of the season. You have a very effective defense here. It's going to be. Let's lead that right into the next question. Do you think this is going to be a high or low scoring game?
I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I know the over and unders, you know, tend to change a little bit, but I know that when I put in my pick, the over was 48. And I took the under. I don't think it's going to be a very
way too high.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a very high scoring game. You have to remember the Broncos haven't even scored 30 points in the playoffs at all this season yet. So even though they were on that crazy scoring trend throughout the regular season, they've really kind of come back to earth.
Well, that was against some pretty low-rung teams as well.
Right,
so.
They've come back to earth a little bit, and so they're not, you know, they haven't scored 30 yet, and I don't think they're going to score you know, that much in this game either.
Want to ask the next question?
What's the next one we have? So, what do you think the final score is going to be?
I am saying Broncos 28, Seahawks 24.
Okay, and I'm saying Broncos 24, Seahawks 21. So we'll see. We'll see who's going to win between that one. Yeah. And then who do you think is going to be the highest scoring fantasy player of the year, since we're doing this new fantasy?
Yeah, we're gonna fill out. We'll tell you later what our picks are, because we're gonna pass out the sheets to everybody, and then we're gonna fill out our own sheets, and we're gonna go and we'll film in secret what our little picks are. So nobody cheats off of anybody. Not that they would, because we're both experts. I think Wes Welker is going to go off this game. I really think because he's had experience in a big game like this before. He's been going across the middle all season. I really think this game, he's just going to really pour it on. He's really gotten a big chemistry with Peyton Manning this season. I just think he's going to go crazy, and I wouldn't doubt if he scores 2 touchdowns this game and 100 yards.
Okay. I think my fantasy player of the game is going to be Marshawn Lynch. I easily see him scoring 2 touchdowns. The Broncos do have a better run defense than they do passing defense, but the thing about the Broncos is they have not seen a running back this whole season like Lynch runs the ball. I mean, he truly is beast mode. There's a reason why that's his nickname. And Seattle's not going to stop running the ball. So even if the Broncos are stopping the run in the first half, they're going to start getting tired, I think, in the third quarter, the fourth quarter, and that's when Lynch is going to, you know, they're going to run it down the Broncos defense throats. So I think, again, even if you don't see him doing a lot fantasy-wise in the first half, look for him to break out in the second half. And that's what happened against San Fran's defense, and their defense is better than the Broncos. So.
Yeah. 2 more questions. One is, do you think Peyton Manning is going to retire if he wins the Super Bowl?
You know, he's already said that he wants to take the physical that's required after, you know, this is all said and done. I think he will think about it tremendously more if he wins. I think he might be swayed a little bit more if he wins. If he loses and he passes the physical, I see him coming back next year to try to get back to this point and for a little bit of revenge.
I think he has. We were watching before we came here. We were watching an hour of Brett Favre talking on one of the pregame shows, and you can always see the look in a quarterback's eye. Peyton Manning is still hungry. He's going to come back, I think, whether he wins or whether he loses. He's a player. He's not going to be a coach. He's just one of those instinctual players, and I just think, he's a legend, and he's going to want to go out, fighting. You're not going to be able to keep him back.
Yeah, well, and if he wins, and decides to go out, then he goes out on top. So,
yeah.
Do you think the weather is going to be a factor?
I don't think it's going to be as much, only if it starts to rain, and that happened in this Super Bowl. Rex Grossman, the only quarterback that fumbled from scrimmage twice in a Super Bowl. And he said, well, the ball was, Rexy said, well, the ball was wet. Well, there was another quarterback called Peyton Manning that did not fumble the ball from scrimmage in the rain, but I think only if it rains, that's going to be a factor. These teams are both used to playing in 30, 40-degree weather. This isn't going to be the crazy thing that the NFL thought it was going to be. I don't think it's going to be really.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's not as cold as we all thought. There's no snow in the forecast. So I don't think, in those type of conditions, it could be a completely different game. I don't think the weather is going to affect the outcome as much. And, even the South has actually had some bad snowstorms. So if they were doing it in a city, like Atlanta or one of the South cities that got a lot of snow, there would be a lot of problems. There'd be a lot of issues with traffic and stuff. So It's actually working out for the NFL to do it in New York, which I think is going to keep them very open-minded for other cold weather cities going forward. I think this was the test. So want to ask the last couple?
Well, we have one more. Well, yeah. You came up with this idea, and I really like it. What is your ballsy statement of the game? What do you think is going to happen in this game?
Okay, so we came up with this idea to do a ballsy statement, and it's basically just like a crazy prediction, something that we wouldn't really see happening. I'm going to say Peyton Manning is not going to throw for over 200 yards.
Really? Wow, that is a ballsy statement.
Ballsy one. I think the Broncos are going to run it a lot more than pass. Even though the weather's good, I think they'll do a good amount of passing, but I think that they're going to try to get the running game going. Seahawks aren't as good against the run as they are the pass. That secondary is a whole nother issue. So that's my ballsy statement.
Well, I mean, I have two statements I'm going to make then. One is I'm going to counter your statement and say that Wilson isn't going to pass over 200 yards in this game.
Okay.
I think that the Denver defense, I agree with you, is going to play for champ, and I think they're really going to shut down Seattle more. They're not going to be able to shut them down on the run, but I think on the passing game, I really think Wilson, being his first time and being so young and inexperienced in the Super Bowl, I think he's really going to, as we usually say on our show, shit the bed big time. That's my ballsy statement. But my other ballsy statement is I think at the end of the game, I think Sherman this time is going to kiss the sideline reporter. That's what he's going to happen. I think he's going to show some love instead of freaking everybody out, which we never got to talk about this. What did you think of that? I think it was fine. I think you shouldn't interview a player right after such a huge play because you're pumped.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna also do kind of a second ballsy statement on the Seattle side. I think Percy Harvin's gonna have a touchdown. We haven't gotten to see him all season, and I think that in this game, he's gonna make a little bit of a difference and score a touchdown. So, but with the Sherman ordeal, I think it was really blown out of proportion.
Totally.
Obviously, he was coming off an emotional game, an emotional play, and he made the play that got them into the Super Bowl. So, it's like, yeah, he's going to be hyped up and come out there. And why was nobody talking about the fact that Crabtree shoved Sherman's helmet, shoved his hand in Sherman's helmet? So it's like everyone wants to talk about what Sherman was saying, But, you know, Crabtree also had an action that was not very sportsmanlike, if we want to go there with it.
Yes.
And, you know, people forget that Sherman is an incredibly intelligent guy.
So.
He went to Stanford. He's super intelligent, so he's not, you know, I think the media tried to make it look like he's just this thug running around the streets, and you know how they do that sometimes with athletes and try to make athletes look bad. And, you know, for all of you out there, Sherman is not a thug, so don't take that one moment.
That's why
we've all had one moment in life that, you know, went a little overboard, so don't take that one moment to heart.
That's why I wanted to bring it up. I couldn't agree with you more. So, we're going to go...
Over under on drinks.
I was just...
the last one.
I was just leading into that. I was just segueing into the fact that we're going to go get some drinks now. And get our we're gonna get our damn drink out. It's Super Bowl Sunday, fun day. This is the game of the year. We've been looking forward to this all season.
Yeah.
And
that's why I dressed up.
Over under on drinks for me. I think I'm going for 10.
During the game?
Yes.
Or before, like
the whole experience.
The whole day?
Yeah, 10.
Okay, the whole day.
Yeah, I'm going 10.
Okay, I think I'll be under 8.
Good for you.
Under 8. So
we're gonna have to see who comes.
We'll see. We'll tally that too and keep track. So we're gonna have a ton of footage coming from the bar. Of course, we just had to start out and get in a little bit of a quiet spot, you know, to cover some things. Then we're gonna do some halftime in here. So
definitely, if you know, you got to come down to the Man Cave. Great food, great drinks, great fun. One of the newest sports bars here in Universal City, and we're going to give you the experience right here on Big Balls Football. We'll see you at halftime.
All right, let's do it.
Welcome to the Broncos pregame party. Follow me. Follow me. Drive gently.
Get the bullhorn.
It's a little let out in there right now. The Broncos are getting ready to play. It is me, Crazy Country Girl, Lexia Swan. Hope you're following me on my Facebook page. Anyways, we have the Broncos versus Seattle Seahawks, and personally, I believe Broncos are gonna win. Everybody's saying because Peyton Manning can't throw in the snow, and Peyton Manning can't, you know, play in the cold, or whatever. I just find it BS. Seattle, you're going down. Anyways, we are here at Outpost in Hollywood off of Cahuenga and Selma, where the game is going on. And I was just informed, all the Seattle Seahawks fans are over at Tequila up on Hollywood. And we, as Outpost as a bar, and Tequila as a bar of different fans, are making a bet. The losing team has to do the walk of shame on the walk of fame. So if the Broncos win, Seattle Seahawks fans are going to be strolling down this sidewalk right here, and we are going to give them hell. So, hope everybody enjoys the game. I will see you at halftime.
right, we have two Seattle Seahawks fans here that won the first quarter of our first time ever Big Balls Fantasy Football live with the Super Bowl. And how many times have you played fantasy football?
It's my first time.
It's her first time and she won. That proves you can do it. How many times have you played fantasy?
Justin.
And what's your first name?
Jason.
Alright, so we got Justin and Jason. Have either of you played fantasy football before?
Yes.
You have?
Never won.
Well, you're champion today. Have you played before?
I've played before and I've won both. Yes, I won a couple times.
Okay, well, you're champion today too. So are you guys headed catch Big Balls Fantasy Football next season?
Oh, yeah.
Alright. Thank you guys for playing and congrats.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we're here at Big Balls Fantasy Football. Seahawks fans, we're going nuts. We have Justin, who was our third quarter winner, who won twice.
I just also, like I said, I just want to thank the man cave for the awesome things of this great menu. We will be back every year because we're out. They're a Seahawks. And that's, we're number one, yay!
Are you going to go party because your team won? But you not only won in fantasy, guys, but your team won the Super Bowl.
It's just a winning game. So yeah, we're going to go. We're going to do it more. So, thank you all so much.
So we have our winner here of the full game. Big Balls Fantasy Football. First time ever live fantasy football during the Super Bowl. What's your name?
Ben.
Ben.
I gotta tell you, only true deal 12 men will really understand what this means. I feel like I'm so shocked over this. It's like I'm in a car accident, you know. Big ups to 12 men.
Seahawks fans, loving life. You're gonna watch this on Big Balls Fantasy Football.
I'm gonna go home and watch. I'm gonna go to your side. I'm gonna go watch every interview I can find. Thank you so much, guys. You're welcome. Bro, have a good one, guys.
Hey everybody, Big Balls Fantasy Football. We are at the end of the Super Bowl, 43-8. Seahawks. Who the hell saw that coming? Crazy. All of my predictions way the hell out the window. Seahawks showed up. Russell Wilson wasn't nervous. I think Peyton Manning was the one that was nervous.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone predicted that the Broncos offense would perform this bad. I think everyone thought Seattle's defense would play really well, which of course they did. But Broncos offense just did not show up today. I mean, Seattle's defense almost had them shut out the entire game. I mean, They scored one touchdown in the 2-point conversion, and that was it. And, I feel like I have to give some credit for the Broncos defense, at least in the first half. They played the first half and into the third quarter pretty well. You have to realize that the Seahawks had a defensive touchdown in the first half.
Yeah.
They had the safety. So that right there is points that the Broncos defense did not give up.
Right.
But, again, Peyton threw a pick 6. Broncos offense just did not look in sync. They just didn't look prepared to face this type of aggressive, physical defense that Seattle has. So my gut feeling was right, which I said at the beginning of the show. So there we go. But I did say that in my pick'em league, I had picked the Broncos. So I was right and wrong. My gut told me right, but I didn't listen to my gut in the pick'ems.
I think there are people throwing themselves out of windows in Vegas, as my late father used to say, because this game had a 3-point spread. It was supposed to be close. It just got sick and then sicker. And just nobody ever likes this kind of Super Bowl because it's just too much scoring on one side. It eventually gets boring. There was a point here at Man Cave Ultimate Sports Bar where the DJ started playing in the fourth quarter thinking, game's over. Like, you're at a baseball game, they start playing, just the walkout music. And it's like, no, maybe Peyton can pull a miracle, but one touchdown is not going to win.
Yeah, I think before Seattle had scored, when they were still in the 20s, I thought, okay, you know, Peyton still has a chance to bring this one back and possibly do something with it, or at least get the score closer, you know. But Seattle put the nail in the coffin, and that was, you know, kind of just how it went. So congrats to the Seahawks fans.
Congrats.
I think I've said all year, though, that the NFC is better than the AFC.
Yeah.
Which our Bears are in the NFC, but
Yes.
the NFC has been more competitive, I feel like, all year, and it just showed that an NFC team is the one that won the Super Bowl. So.
We drive defenses. Unfortunately, the Bears don't have a defense anymore, but Seattle is the model of what we hope the future of our team will be. Their offense stepped up surprisingly well today.
And didn't make mistakes.
And
you know, they didn't turn the ball over.
Let's talk about your statement that you made.
Yes. So I did expect Percy Harvin to score a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of my ballsy statements, and he did. He didn't score it as a receiver, but he did score it on a return.
And
so
the other one came true too.
See, I did it because we were busy giving out fantasy prizes. So what was Peyton's yardage?
He did not break it.
He did not break 200?
200.
200. It was 200. He did break 200.
Yes, he broke 200. I thought it was 300.
He didn't break 3.
He didn't break 3, which for Peyton Manning, Manninged every team this season. And I don't know what Peyton Manning this game. Honestly, it was like the Prince and the Pauper. It's like somebody replaced him because he looked nervous. He looked unsure. Passes were going in weird places, and as Sherman said, you know, he throws ducks. He threw a lot of ducks this
Well,
year.
he could have very easily had 4 interceptions. I mean, there were a couple that were very, very close to being picked off that he luckily didn't get picked off. So it just was, you know, he was not on point. Their offense as a whole was not on point. They weren't in sync. And, you know, maybe it was too big of a stage for him. I mean, it sounds funny to say it because he's gone to 2 Super Bowls and he's won 1 before. But it's, you know, I think maybe with all this legacy talk and just with his age and everything else and facing this young, physical, aggressive defense, you know, maybe the stage is too big. And again, Seattle's offense didn't make mistakes. They played very well. They took care of the ball, and you know, they were able to put up some points as an offense. So Seattle played outstanding.
Yeah. Congratulations, Seahawks fans. We are going to sign out and actually go home. And
well, we might get to chill out for a little bit because we were busy the whole game. We had awesome fantasy winners, as you guys saw. So we actually get to relax a little bit and enjoy ourselves on Super Bowl Sunday, even though everything's over.
Yep. So congratulations, Seahawks, and we will see everybody on Big Ball's Flashback Football in the off season. We haven't finished our Bears season, and we are going to go through the rest of the 85 Bears season and finish that up, and then eventually take on other teams with our wacky and fun commentary. So we look forward to seeing you in the summer. BigBallsFantasyFootball.com. Just go there for all the news.
Yeah, we have everything there, and don't forget to visit the Man Cave, the ultimate sports bar.
Their page. They were very nice to us.
They were awesome. They're here in Universal City, California, right across from Universal Studios. So if you're down here on vacation, it's a great place to come out for some drinks. So check them out.
That's right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.